Dublin. How are you guys? I'm Kate Bulkley, and this is Nicola.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you.
Good morning, Nicola.
Hi, Kate.
You're on the yellow seat. I'm not sure, orange and yellow, it's perfect. Facebook. You're the head of Facebook Europe, in charge of all the things that Facebook is doing in Europe. Revenue, other projects. We've heard a lot already at the Web Summit about virtual reality. We've heard about Instagram. We've heard lots of things going on. We're going to talk more, because we're on the marketing stage, more about revenue, advertising, things like that. From my perspective, Facebook has moved from being a social media platform about likes, friending, all that kind of stuff. You still do that, but you're also becoming a social marketing platform. How important is mobile to your shift to being more about social marketing?
So mobile isn't something that's happening, it's happened. We love our phones. Come on, hands up, who loves their phone? Be honest. Some people are not being honest at the back there, can I tell you? We don't put these things away. Hands up who goes to bed at night and has a little check just before they go to bed. You are not being honest today. And hands up who checks their mobile first thing in the morning. We do. We love these things. And these phones now have 100,000 times the computing power that took man to the moon. These little things in our hands, they're truly incredible. And they're with us every waking moment of the day. Now, the shift to mobile has happened so quickly that even companies like Facebook, we were slow to adopt to this. 3 years ago, we didn't have any revenues coming from mobile, zero. And today, over 3/4 of our revenues do come from mobile. So we had to course correct, and we had to do that very quickly. And it was only by Mark Zuckerberg coming along and saying to the company, we need to be a mobile-first company, we have to code mobile first, everything we do needs to be mobile, that we were able to course correct and move quickly enough. And so today, what we're seeing today is that we now have 2.5 million advertisers that are mobile-first advertisers because they're spending money with us, they're spending largely now through mobile, and that really has been a big shift in our business.
The other shift, of course, is going to more and more video, right? I mean, video is like the new black. Everyone wants to be in video. Let me just play devil's advocate. On a mobile screen, they're still quite small, unless you've got a phablet. How about watching more than just a short thing, a short video on a small screen? Aren't you betting an awful lot on consumer behavior?
I think you have to look at consumer behavior. Let's just have a quick think about what's happened with phones. So phones started, back in the 90s, they were this big, and then they went smaller and smaller and smaller to be those little clam-shaped phones. And then in the last couple of years, they've got bigger again. And the reason that they've got bigger is because we want to consume more and more content. And actually, we're seeing that people on Facebook are consuming so much more content than ever before. And the big shift for us that we've gone in the last year from 1 billion video views a day to over 4 billion video views a day. And the real big driver here was the Ice Bucket Challenge. So I was one of the people that threw water over my head last summer. But for many people, it was the first time I didn't look very glamorous, I must be honest. But for many people, it was the first time that they'd ever actually uploaded a video or even watched a video on Facebook. And we've just seen that. And also our autoplay video product coming in also has been a really big, significant shift.
When you look at video, though, I mean, you could say that, you're trying to emulate YouTube. You're almost creating like genre-specific channels with a suggested video product, for example. I mean, you've launched a lot of products like the 360 viewing. These are video-centric products. It seems like you're trying to, out-YouTube YouTube. Is that possible?
So the thing that we're looking here is, what are people doing when they come onto Facebook? They're coming and they want to discover, and one of the things that they want to do is to spend a lot more time with video. So yes, we are inventing, I've come up with a lot of new products recently. So suggested videos is one of those, whereby, say you're watching a cooking video, we'll actually then suggest a further feed of other maybe cooking videos, or if you're watching, I like Manchester United, say you're watching something on Manchester United, then you can watch other things under Manchester United as well. So that's one area. We're also testing at the moment, looking at a save button as well. So you might see something but not have time to watch it. You can save that video to later. And yes, the 360 video, which is really, really in its early stages. And we did something for the trailer for Star Wars, where and I don't know if you like Star Wars, but I love Star Wars, where you can actually see the planes going through, or the spaceships going through, and you can turn around and start to see a 360 view of that. And we're also looking at just a discovery button, that if you just want to go and spend more time on video, that there's a whole area that you can then go and look at, which tells you what the things that are trending, what are people liking, what your friends are watching, the sort of areas that it also might suggest that you like. So we see video becoming more and more important. And actually, if you look at the shift of how Facebook has gone, originally when Facebook started, it was text-based. Then it moved to image-based, and we see that the newsfeed will increasingly become more video-dependent. So definitely video. We know it captures people's attention. We know it's an area that people can connect with, and so that's definitely an area people should double down on.
So video is the thing. Obviously, people sharing videos or creating videos, and then obviously you're working with big brands like the Star Wars or whatever. Yeah. What about commissioning exclusive content? I mean, there's been some sort of reporting out there in the cybersphere that you might even get into exclusive commissioning. Is that something you're thinking about?
No, it's not.
Not at all.
No. We want to be a platform for you to put your things on, that you can reach the people that matter to you. And I think that's the really big difference here, is the people on Facebook are their real authentic selves. They're people, they're not cookies, they're not proxies, they're not something else, they're real people. And where we start to see a whole new type of, if you like, way of thinking about marketing, a whole new way of thinking about briefing, is, I'll give you an example of EE, which is a telecoms company in the UK. So they looked at, let's talk to people that maybe like things like the X Factor. Let's talk to people that like sport. Let's talk to people that like London. And they could group these people together into big significant audiences, 6 million, 20 million, 10 million audiences. And then you can create the work specifically around what those people like. So it's actually a desire for more content. And so their campaign was all based with Kevin Bacon, and they were promoting buffer facing, which was, that moment when you really want to see the really important thing and it kind of goes shh, because you can't then see it. Well, that's what they did. So at the crucial moments where you want to see what the goal was scored, Kevin's face kind of went, and so you didn't find out. So for the people that were looking at the sports, that really felt like they were being marketed to personally. But it's personal marketing at scale. Similarly with the X Factor final one, it was, and the winner is, and then it goes, shh. So it talks to people in a way that feels much more relevant, and I think relevancy is absolutely key now. People expect people to be targeting with advertising that's relevant.
Okay. So let's talk about your value to advertisers, because that's, if you're talking about relevancy, absolutely, that's what they care about. They care about relevancy, they care about engagement. You launched at Adweek in New York relatively recently, let's say, a new way of looking at how to track relevancy, engagement, things like that, to make it more like what we already use in the television world, right? To make it similar or comparable, yes? How is that working, and how can you actually get that to be accepted, let us say, by the brands or the agencies?
Okay, so we've done a number of things over the last year, but especially even in the last few months, to make it easier to work with Facebook. Because one of the things that we were told was, can you be a little bit easier? We'd like it if you were more comparable to the things that we're already buying against. So yeah, we launched TRP buying, or GRP buying, depending where you're on the world. So it's really utilizing Nielsen for the markets that have that to be able to buy in the same way. We introduced reach and frequency in order to really understand the size of the audiences that you wanted to get and how often that you were getting them as well. And the really important thing here about the fact that Facebook is people-based and Instagram is people-based is the fact that actually what we see with cookies, and because of cross-devices, that actually can be an overestimation of over 30% on the reach, and actually an under-delivery, a very significant under-delivery on what the frequency can be. So actually with cookies, you can often see that sometimes people might be getting a frequency of 11 to 15 or 20, which is going to drive somebody mad, but actually overstating. And cross-functional device, I mean, most people in the audience will have at least 3 devices, and you'll probably have at least 2 with you at the moment. You are the same person on each of those devices, and Facebook knows that, whereas cookies counts you as 3 people. And I think we really need to adjust that area going forward. So it's been a real priority for us, and the results that we're seeing across the board are very, very strong. And what we want to make sure, and where we start with every conversation, is that we want to be the single best euro, pound, shilling, dollar, whatever currency you're in, that you will spend that will give you the maximum return back.
I mean, a cynic might say, well, you want to get into this TV pool of money because that's where the big money still is. The big money is still going to television advertising. So if you can make your product look like television advertising, or let's say comparable to television advertising, that's going to work. The problem with it is that, when you show, I think it's like a 3 seconds means it's viewed, and people are concerned about that. They're saying, well, I mean, on YouTube, it's 30 seconds. So how do you get over some of those criticisms?
Okay, so we've done a lot of research that says that when people actually go into, when the imagery goes into the screen, it counts. They see it and they impact on it. And so much of that happens in the very first 1 or 2 seconds. And then people go on if to watch the rest of the videos. They do as well. So we see that. And you can buy in different ways, and we're not restricting people on the formats and the times that they can go for. They can actually buy the thing that's relevant to them. And with tools like Atlas that we're developing and now is available everywhere, you can actually be serving the right imagery to the right people in the right way, in the most effective way, and do that real time also.
Instagram. Now, Instagram's interesting. Again, a cynic might say, well, Instagram is your way of, Facebook, what is it, 1.4 million people? Okay, so... Billion, sorry, 1.4, I knew it was 1.4. 1.4 billion. Instagram's, let's say, 400 million, but it's like less, it's younger, it skews much longer. Facebook has sort of a missing demographic. So is Instagram your answer to getting the youth vote, so to speak?
Instagram is very different to Facebook, and it's true, it does skew younger, and we often see that when new platforms emerge that they skew younger because younger people come on and they experiment with lots of different things. We're having huge success with Instagram. Just in September, we launched the self-serve tools globally, so that it made it a lot easier for people to buy advertising on Instagram, and we're seeing very strong results across the board in terms of the engagement. And why is that? We're seeing that because actually people like to be visually inspired, and this is a way that brands can tell and connect with people in a visually inspiring way. So I think it's very exciting. It's early days. It's actually growing faster than Facebook at the same time in its history. So Instagram's 5 years old now, and it's growing faster than Facebook was as well. Majority of the users are outside of the US, and we're just seeing that it's continuing to grow and grow. So really excited about the opportunity on Instagram and seeing some fantastic advertising on there. And so if you're not on there, the thing that I would say to you is experiment, go there, go learn, go follow the things that you're passionate about and that inspire you. And it's a whole new way of communicating with consumers.
What do you do about, like there's this famous, she has, I think, 612,000 followers on Instagram, Esna O'Neill, who's basically dropped out of Instagram. What do you do about people who are saying, oh, it's terrible, it's overbranded, it's, there's too much sort of promotion and marketing? Is there a way to make sure you don't fall into that trap, that you don't become just a marketing product channel?
So one of the things that we care about more than anything is our user trust, and we monitor and we look at very closely what people's engagement is. We're actually seeing that people are spending a lot of time on both our platforms, and actually we have 46 minutes a day of people's time that are on Instagram and Facebook and Messenger together. So actually we're getting more and more content, and people are enjoying and spending more and more time. And one of my favorite facts that I learned recently is that we're now consuming 7 hours of content in 5 hours. So I've no idea how we're doing that, but I think it's about the fact that we're multi-screening, have 2 or 3 things going at the same time. So it shows that we have a huge appetite to absorb things. But I think it's important as well to make sure that the stuff that we're putting out there to consumers is of a high standard. And I would be making sure that we're doing the right checks and balances on the creative work on Instagram, on Facebook, to make sure that you would want that in somebody's lap.
I mean, we've had a kind of a high-profile privacy problem in the UK with TalkTalk, breach of privacy. It seems to me at some point consumers, or maybe even governments, might require to be compensated for their collection of data. In other words, or maybe you might go to a subscription-type service. As you look down the road, this is more future thinking, where do you think you might go with Facebook and Instagram? Do you think you're going to have to sort of balance this collection of data and use of personal data with maybe becoming a subscription service, or maybe saying, we'll give you more safeguards about your data?
So, as I said, user safety is the single most important thing. Privacy is the single most important thing to us, and trust that we have with the people that use our platform, the 1.49 billion people. And it's something we take very, very seriously. What we make sure, though, is that you are in control of all your data. You decide who you want to be friends with. You decide who you want to follow. You decide who you want to show the pictures and the things that you share with. So it's all in the hands of you. So the power is with all of you. It's not with us.
Last question. Facebook at Work, new product. Just starting. Why is that important? It seems to me sort of like a confluence of LinkedIn meets Google Docs. What are you trying to do with this?
Actually, it's very different, and it came about from conversations with a lot of our clients where they kept saying, how come you can move so quickly? How come you could shift to mobile so quickly? How do you do business? And actually, the business of Facebook is done on Facebook. So we use our groups, we use Messenger, and it's actually much more efficient and makes us much more agile. So other companies were saying to us, well, how can we get a bit of this? And at Facebook, we are actually all friends with each other, but what we realized is that maybe not other companies would want that sort of intimacy that we have. So we've created, if you like, a Facebook which doesn't have all the personal side of it, where you can use all the infrastructure that just on the work purposes. And we've only just started, as you say, but we're having some fantastic results. We've signed 300 partners so far. The biggest one we announced last week was RBS, who have committed to putting 30,000 of their people in the bank on there by March, with the full 100,000 by the end of the year. Why are they doing that? Because they want to move quicker, they want to move faster, and they know that we keep these phones in the palms of our hands, so it's a much quicker and easier way to be able to communicate with people at scale. So we're open for business, and so if you're interested, let us know. And Julien Courdignou, he's the man to be in touch with.
That's great. Nicola Mendelsohn, EVP, EMEA, Facebook, thank you very, very much.
Thank you, everybody. Great to be here. Thank you.